Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. Hope you're doing well. I get this question often. Dave, how can I make sure that my podcast doesn't fail? How do I make sure this thing keeps alive? What do I do to keep my podcast relevant, current, growing? What's your secret to success, Dave, about having a podcast that continues? Well, it's pretty simple. Don't stop podcasting. Don't quit. Don't give up on your show. Don't take your hands off the steering wheel and take a break that never ends. Don't do that. That's probably the simplest way to harm your show for the long term, is to just stop podcasting completely. Pod fade is what you'll hear people talk about, where you just kind of fade away from your show. You fade away from your audience, and they in turn fade away from you as a listener, as a viewer. I just think that the moment we stop and we give up, that's when we're destined to fail. As podcasters, I think by being a podcaster, by being in podcasting, by being surrounded by other podcasters, like at our meetup group, hello, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, by being around people who are doing what you do, it inspires you to move forward with your show. And Seth was on a podcast talking about success and what does it take to be successful. And very interesting. I love this guy's laugh, by the way, but this actor's on talking about what success looks like to him and his secret to
the only
being
way
successful.
to
and
mitigate
it comes down to a very simple
not being successful
principle.
is to not quit.
Don't give up.
That's
Here's
it.
Seth.
If you don't quit, you might make it. And if you quit, you definitely won't. And honestly, I think after all the years I've seen people make it and not make it, the only common denominator is that. I always think about like Ian McKellen. Like, had you heard of him before he was 65 years old? Like that guy, I had never heard the words Ian McKellen until he was Magneto in X-Men. Then all of a sudden he's like in Lord of the Rings. He's one of the most famous people on earth. He got famous when he's like 60. That's what happens to people sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like, you never know. And if you like it, then just don't quit. And as long as you have enough to survive, then just keep trying to do it.
So wise words, right? The best way to continue podcasting is to continue podcasting. And it's not like super difficult to wrap your head around the idea that your show requires you showing up on a regular basis to do what you do and connect with your audience. You simply being diligent enough to continue with your show gives you the opportunity to be successful. Quitting on your show early, or if it's not working, quitting on your show is a guarantee that your show's not going to progress. That's really how simple it is. Why do I do 3 episodes a week for this show? And in November, 30 episodes in 1 month. Why? Because I want to succeed. That's it. I want to succeed. Where my competition in other podcasts about podcasting get away with a single episode a week, a single episode a month, here comes Dave with at least 3 episodes a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, plus Daily Daves, plus the November challenge to do 30 episodes in 30 days, on and on and on and on. Why? Because I want to beat them at their own game. I want to do 3, 4, 5 times the amount of content they do in the same time period. Why do I do that? Because I want to be your first choice for podcasting and all things to do with how to podcast. That's why I do this show. That's why I show up so much. I remember one of my earliest jobs, I was like newly married, looking for work, and I got hired to do a part-time job at a store. And I remember looking at the list, the schedule for the week, the next week coming, and Dave's at the bottom of the list. And I have 1 or 2 shifts. And you know what I said to myself in that moment as I saw all of these people on the list above me? My goal is to get myself to the top of the list where the store manager is. But not only that, to go higher than that. That's my goal. And I remember every time I checked the The schedule, I wanted to see my name move up the list. People come, people go. I just stick with it. I take every shift available to me. I do my best. I show up. I put my heart into it. And I do what everyone else won't do. And that's just simply commit to being there and to being faithful to my job and doing my best. And not only did I work my way up the list within the store from a part-timer to full-time to management to going for a course to be to move even up higher in management within the store, I went to the home office, the head office for the company, and I was above all of the stores, not just my store, all of the stores. I was the guy who would come into a store for a tour where everybody freaks out and makes the store look nice. That was me coming into the store then. I went from being a nobody at the bottom of the list on that attendance sheet, on that schedule, to being the guy that people cleaned up the store for because Dave's coming. That's my goal. So when I approach podcasting, I don't come at this kind of limp my way into podcasting going, yeah, I hope it works. I don't know. I'll try it. I'll put in like a quarter, a tenth of my effort just to see. But, if it's not successful in 5 episodes, I'm going to give up. Nope, that's not how I do it. 3 episodes a week. Let's show up. Let's drown out all of these other podcasts about podcasting who don't serve their audience well, who don't give great community, who don't do what I do. And I'm just going to outwork them all. That's what I do. I outwork everybody. And it's because I want to serve you. I want this podcast to grow. And the more people who come to podcasting, the better. I will not give up on this. I want this to continue. And I've been given this opportunity and I'm going to show up. I'm not going to just put in half effort. I'm not going to put in just the extras. I'm going to pour myself into this because I want to see the return. I want podcasting to be a big part of my life. And that's why I show up. That might not be your goal, but it's my goal. And that's why I'm here as often as I am. The heart of this message that we're hearing through Seth, through that clip, is all about resilience, patience, and the truth that success in creative fields often comes unpredictably. You don't know what's around the corner. You don't know who's listening to you. You don't know who's going to hit play on your podcast. And quitting guarantees that you will never see the results that you hope for. Quitting is a guarantee that you will not be successful in whatever it is, podcast or not. As podcasters, it's easy to feel the weight of slow growth, small numbers, or a lack of recognition compared to all the others in the space. Many creators start strong, but eventually they just kind of fizzle out. When the journey seems too long or success seems too far out of reach, they don't get the accolades, the awards, the notoriety. It doesn't come their way. This show is not on any top podcast lists about podcasting. It's not even on websites that list podcasts about podcasting. Why? I don't know. But I'm not there. But people are coming to the show without that kind of support, without that kind of praise and recognition from the industry that this right here, the How to Podcast series, is a great podcast about podcasting. Without their help, this podcast continues to grow. If I had their help, it would be great, but they don't, because I'm not in that little inner circle of podcasters who talk about podcasting. So I'm on the outside, I'm on the fringe. But I love it on the fringe because I can do whatever the heck I want. It's the best feeling ever. There's a little bit of truth here. If you quit, you guarantee that you will never make it in podcasting, in life, in relationships, at work. If you quit, if you give up, you will never make it. That's how it works. If you keep going, even if the progress is slow, there's always a chance for you to break through. There's always a chance for you to be discovered. But you can't quit. You can't give up on your dream. I've watched people succeed in wildly unexpected ways. I've seen people hit it and get lucky early. Some people have to grind for years and years and years in obscurity. Nobody knows who they are. They don't get invited to speak on stages. They don't get any of this stuff. And they just keep showing up without the praise, without the reward, and without the cheers and accolades of people from the industry. They just keep showing up. That's been my path with this show and my other shows. I just keep showing up. I'm like a podcast cockroach. You can't squish me. I just keep moving forward. I'm just there. It's the one guarantee that success is ahead for you if you don't give up. The only common denominator between those who succeed and those who don't is that the successful ones simply just don't give up. I love how Seth talks about Ian and him being in X-Men and Lord of the Rings, and how at 60, 65 years of age, he found his fame. At 60 and over. You're like, I'm too old to podcast. Come on. We have actors being discovered in their 60s. You're not too old for this. Success is right around the corner, but you got to start. Most of the world hadn't even heard of this guy until he was in his 60s. He didn't explode onto the scene in his 20s. He wasn't popular in his 30s. His spotlight came decades later. And when it did, he became one of the most recognizable actors in the world. Podcasting works the same way. You don't know when your episode, your voice, your story is going to connect with the right person or connect with the right audience. What changes is everything by simply you showing up. It could be tomorrow. It might be 10 years from now. It might be when you turn 60, like for Ian. But it only happens when you're still in the game. You have to be here to win. When you quit, you're not going to win. There's no chance. Podcasters need to hold on to the fact that consistency beats overnight success, hands down. Be consistent. Showing up creates the possibility of connection. And longevity gives you the chance that you can't predict. It gives you opportunities that you don't see coming. Every time you release another episode, you open another door for someone to discover you. Every time you choose to keep going, you're writing your own story with persistence. So don't quit. Not today, not tomorrow. You owe it to yourself and to your audience, those who are already listening and those who haven't found you yet. Your breakthrough might be not going to be on your own timeline, but it's possible if you never stop your podcast. This is something you need to focus on. This is something that needs to be your priority. You need to develop this as a podcaster for your show by simply showing up. Your podcast will succeed by you not quitting. This is your opportunity. And if you've thought about giving up on your show because you haven't been successful, you might be just a little premature in this decision. I'm asking you to hold on. Hold on if this podcast is meaningful for you, but you're not seeing the results. Hold on. If you're at the point where this podcast isn't working and it's time to refocus or go to a new platform or try something else, then that's a different story. If you're a podcaster just not seeing the results you anticipated, hold on. Hang on. Keep posting. Keep being you. Keep being a percentage better than the last episode. Keep showing up for your guests. Keep showing up for your audience. Don't stop. Because in that, you will create the atmosphere for you to be successful. Creativity finds creative people. That's how it works. Opportunity finds people who chase opportunity. Opportunity doesn't land in the lap of somebody who is not motivated, who doesn't show up and puts no effort into life. Opportunity passes those people by because they're not receptive to chances. They're not receptive to risk. By you showing up and being who you are on the mic and continuing to connect with your audience presents you the best opportunity for you to grow your show. It's time to do that. It's time to be the winner for your show, the voice for your podcast. It's time for you. And I'm cheering you on. Don't give up.
The only way to mitigate not being successful is to not quit. That's it. If you don't quit, you might make it. And if you quit, you definitely won't.
Thank you so much for listening to the entirety of the episode, including this part. You know what? A lot of people leave right now. So we'll let them leave. Give them a second to go. Okay, now it's just you and me. We have our meetups that we do for the How to Podcast series. We do them during the week, and we also do them on Saturdays. So twice a week, you have the opportunity to meet other podcasters, just like you. Some people have just started. Some people haven't even released an episode yet. Some have been doing it forever. And we get together and talk podcasting. We want to help you in community to continue with your show, to start your show, to grow your show. So come and meet listeners of this show in one space on meetup.com. Again, through howtopodcast.ca, you'll see the links. It's completely free to join. Come whenever you have an opportunity to come. There's no commitment. You don't have to sign any waivers. You can just come join us. Come join the conversation. We'd love to have you there because the only thing that's going to make these meetups better is you being there. So I'm hoping you will say yes. And you'll say, Dave, I'm tired of podcasting by myself. I wish there were people I could connect with that are fellow podcasters and share my frustrations with guests who ghost me and my editing software is crapping out on me and I'm just having this hard time. I'm just having a hard time coming up with podcasts, episodes and titles and all the things and social media. Wouldn't it be great to get in a room with other podcasters and share best practices and learn? 3 of our 4 Saturdays every month are themed. So you have a topic, but that last Saturday of every month is open question and answer. Ask anything. Come meet a podcaster. Come enjoy the podcasting community through howtopodcast.ca. Come to our meetups. Can't wait to see you there.